Please welcome Pam Rivet.
If I asked you to introduce yourself to me, but you couldn't list your job titles, roles, relationships, or accomplishments, could you do it? No labels, just you. Who are you? Some of you are mentally scrolling your resume. Others may be second-guessing yourselves because you're honestly not sure. 4 years ago, I had a moment where I had to ask myself that question too, and I couldn't answer it either. It's Friday afternoon. My coworkers and I are leaving the office early, heading to my favorite Mexican restaurant to celebrate. I tell everyone I can't drink. It's my week with my kids. Then I think, just one margarita won't hurt. But one becomes two, becomes three, then four. My phone alarm goes off. Time to leave. As I walked to my car, I had this internal war. You shouldn't be driving right now. I only had a few. I'll just take the back roads. You shouldn't have drank. You knew better. I'm fine. I'm not drunk. I got behind that wheel anyway. I picked up my daughters, ages 15 and 6, and began our 40-minute ride home. Halfway there, I called my husband, and he knew immediately I had been drinking. He was furious, rightfully. My kids were worried. Mommy, are you okay? I'm scared. Instead of comforting them, I yelled, stop being ridiculous. By the grace of God, we made it home. But I went into yet another drunken rage. But this time it was different. It was the first time I had been drunk around my kids, and it was the first time I raged in front of them. I said things that still haunt me. And the worst part is, I don't remember all of it, and I'll never truly know how that night affected them. The next morning, I woke up and barely remembered anything, but I knew it wasn't good. I walked out of my bedroom and immediately began apologizing. My husband just looked at me with such disappointment and said, do you have any idea what you did last night? How you acted? What you said? Honestly, I didn't want to remember. I walked into my bathroom, I looked in the mirror, and I saw a stranger. I whispered, who are you? Who are you? Nothing came. I thought to myself, I've answered every call, thrown on every cape, tried to be the best superhero I could be. And then it hit me. For the first time in my life, I didn't know who I was anymore. I wasn't just tired. I was lost. And I had become a stranger to my own self. That moment required radical honesty. I knew that I had to stop blaming the world and start asking, how did I let all of these capes bury me? I had spent years wearing capes. Capes of success, capes of service, capes of strength, capes of perfection. But the truth is, those capes weren't my strength. They were my survival. Before we can step into our identity, we have to unbecome who the world has taught us to be. But why do we wait until the weight of those capes has become so unbearable and we're falling apart to finally wake up? What if transformation doesn't begin after the fall, but before it? And the moment we start to notice those warning signs. You see, I learned that my rock bottom moment, it didn't appear out of nowhere. It built slowly and quietly beneath a life that looked perfect on the outside. What I wish I would have realized were those quiet warning signs that slowly surfaced over the years. Maybe you know them. It's that constant mental fog when you walk into a room and can't remember why you're there, or that midday crash that caffeine can't fix, or the trouble sleeping at night even though you're exhausted. It's that creeping sense of numbness where you feel like you're just going through the motions but not fully present. Maybe you find yourself snapping at small things or feeling disconnected from things that once brought you joy. We tell ourselves, I'm just tired. I'm just stressed. This is normal adult life. But these are not signs of normal life. These are signs that you've been holding on to too much for too long, and you're wearing capes that are crushing you. We think burnout is the result of doing too much, but it is actually a symptom of becoming too little of ourselves. We abandon who we are to maintain what we do. Psychologists call this role-based identity conflict. It's a strain that comes from stacking multiple roles instead of shifting between them. Research shows that when we juggle too many identities at once, our sense of self becomes blurry. We feel disconnected and emotionally drained. We stop asking, who am I? And start asking, who do they need me to be? But when you stop stacking and choose to intentionally shift between them, you prevent burnout and reclaim your identity. It's when the question shifts from, how do I hold everything together, to, who am I underneath all the capes? Think of it like this. When you don't know who you are, it's like trying to operate a phone on a 1% battery. Technically, you're functioning, but everything drains you. You're afraid to open certain apps, conversations, conflicts, dreams, because even one more thing might shut you down completely. That's not living with purpose. That's surviving with caution. And here's the kicker. Recharging doesn't mean doing more. It just means plugging back into the truth of who you are, beyond the roles, the pressure, and the noise. This is where awareness begins. You are one honest moment away from reclaiming your identity. So be honest for a moment, not with me, but with yourself. How many capes did you put on this morning? The perfect employee? The supportive friend? The superhero parent? You didn't put those capes on to hide who you are. You put them on because you care. But even the strongest capes become heavy, and when you forget to take them off, you lose the person underneath. So I want to extend you an invitation, not to do more, but to become who you were meant to be. You don't have to wait until you break to make a change. Just move through your life with your identity in the lead and your roles following, not the other way around. This is how you go from just surviving to truly living. Imagine walking into any room free of all your capes, standing confident, knowing that you are strong and capable just as you are. That kind of peace, it's contagious. It heals you, and it changes the story for generations who follow. The bridge back to that life, it's simply awareness. So this is where the reflection reset comes in. It's the moment you stop stacking and start grounding. It's the practice of pausing long enough to reconnect with the person beyond the roles. Throughout your day, ask yourself, instead of asking yourself, what do I have to do next? Ask yourself, who am I showing up as right now? And who do I need to return to? At night, take a breath. Let the weight fall and rest in who you are, not what you do. So right now, I want you to picture yourself standing there, looking at your reflection in the mirror, capes draped across your shoulders, capes of achievement, of service, of strength. Now, give yourself permission to take them off. One by one, feel the weight lift, feel the breath return, feel freedom rising into your chest. This is what awareness feels like. It's you remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. You are not behind. You are becoming. And that stranger in the mirror, they're gone. Because the person beyond the cape was never lost. They were just waiting on permission to be seen again. Go be them.